Hi guys, how you doing today? I trust you're doing well wherever you're watching this week's episode of the Car Weekly Roundup. Now, today is 15th August 2026, and on 5th September, we're going to be having the Love for Cars convention. This is the place where the car community is going to be. First-time car owners, those planning to buy cars, those that are planning to upgrade their cars, those that are having problems with their cars. Come and meet mechanics, come and meet car experts, and ask questions and learn. We are launching the second edition of the Love of Cars magazine on that day. We are giving away our project car. We are giving away awards to people that deserve them. And you guys are going to vote. You're still nominating the people that you think deserve the awards until 20th. Yeah. But today we are talking news. Mawide Gemoroka. Agabade mu weekend. Na agariwa mu wiki ye mungeno. Now this week in history, 8th August 1938, there is a brand that was created by Ford. The Ford Motor Company bari registering a brand yabaita Mature. It's a trademark. Now, the brand jukira Ford bari bakole moroka za mirundi ebiri bari bakola Lincoln, which is the premium. Nga Toyota weina Toyota has Lexus. Kati boba aina Lincoln nga baina ni Ford. Kati ne bakola Mature. Nga Mature was supposed to be in the middle of the Lincoln and the Ford. And of course, it went on for production. I think around 2010. And Moroka baina Moroka is very popular. Baina Mature Cougar, Grand Marquis, Marauda, Come, Montego, Stable. Bari kirao in the 2000s. Bari kirao kujikora because they announced in 2010 that they were no longer going to be making the Mature because bari katibacha asobola kwaula. There's another bari bali bakoyo kuzigura. And then, of course, in the same history in 1917, Martin Kokola race cars is really closed. You can already bakoranga race kanga ebera open. Muyambala helmet no. Hey, kanara kokole moroka jebaso Kokola bajita the Golden Submarine. Hira, the person that first drove the Golden Submarine was called Barney Oldfield. Yeah, he drove the Golden Submarine to speed jebaite barabanga ko. It was enclosed in Geriko Butuli, getting a submarine bojiraba. This was brought after a friend of his Yafa. Moroka Ngabuye Furakane. Wakole Moroka getting closed to give the driver overall protection in Moroka Senga food and stuff like that. And then, of course, on 11th August 1966, the first production of the Chevrolet Camaro was completed. Now, Chevrolet is a company. You know, Camaro Baji called it at the plant in Norwood, Ohio. Yeah, and the Camaro was the answer. Bari because the Moroka Koina competing against Ford Mustang mujimanyi eyo kati bakola Camaro nayo competing. And then of course in 1893 14th August, which was like yesterday, the license plate was introduced in France. Kati boti bachita fetuwantujita number plate. In Paris they introduced regulations requiring motor vehicles to be officially identified and registered. Ngabo daba UAA. Kati rules ezo zezitutuusa wano wetuli nti katulina digital number plate in Uganda kyasoka kuleetebwa mu Paris in Ufaransa. And then of course on 14th August 1988 Enzo Ferrari yafa. You guys know Enzo Ferrari yatandikanga race company nebatandika okukola race cars, and then of course it became a very 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 influential company, and this guy was very influential. He died at the age of 90. You guys know Ferraris. You can't afford them, at least some of you. Welcome to the weekly roundup. For the love, for the love, for the love. Now, locally, you remember the car accident that involved in Muruera, Sinotruck, and of course the drone. The driver of the Sinotruck survived. The driver of the drone and several passengers died. Total of 13 people died, and the accident happened sometime the other week, 3rd August. It was on the Rueda stretch, Rukaya. Commuter taxi and the Sinotruck went head on. Now, according to police, they are saying that the Sinotruck is the one that derailed, came from this route, Nerumba taxi, but both these cars were over speeding and they hit each other. So, driver was Sinotruck, Bamutegede Yechiega Ibra Mukasa, and the police said he has been charged with 16 counts relating to causing death and bodily injuries through reckless driving. They are saying that we have he was in treatment. Nainga police mkumi tuzabade kumpingu bwati. Yeah, kati 10th August bamutute mu court. And now you guys know that the police has started a series of operations. yeah, meant to reduce nighttime crashes on Ugandan roads involving taxis, buses, trucks, and of course private vehicles. Yeah, yeah. Kati bagambi barabara. There is one operation that the Ministry of Works and Police have started, where they are meant to make sure that all the cars on the road are equipped with all the safety features and that the drivers are driving properly.
Now we roll from the
And then, of course, in Masindi, there was an attack on the Masindi petrol station. The thieves came on a motorcycle with firearms. What they intended to do, of course, the police, they recovered a firearm that had bullets. So what they said is that on 10th August, yeah, the Bajita, it's a gas petrol station, yeah, and Erimu Central, Masindi Central. Katwaga at around midnight, suspects bazze babiri nga bali ku pichi. The motorcycle is UGG 529P. Nibaga basose kuyita omusirikale nga baagala muyita asembere wano bamukube. Ne balemerwa ne mama ne bamulumba ne bamukuba. Of course tebasobodde kubba, but badduse they left their gun, they left their knife, okitegeera. And of course there was a struggle. Patronage, manyi waliwo ebitundu nga patrol ekitundu it's not so big. So the patrol is always near. And they are saying one suspect was arrested. Bamita Ondoma Ronald, 43 years old. Ne bamukwata, police ne mutwala, pitch ne egikwata. Bajita pump action firearm, whatever that means. And then bagamba suspect owokubiri yadusi ne bagenda mukwata n'agenda kutaaja. Ababbi abaavu eva bataaja. Ate kati nze nkufiri jangu bansalireko. And then of course, you guys that are traveling at night, you need to be very careful about BJ. Bali batambuza emundu, batambuza obanga, batambuza amatafari, pava, okitegeera. And then police introduced strict safety reminders for vehicle transporting students during school holidays. You remember? Bagai police, bagambi, there is a holiday period enforcement guideline starting 11th. Kubabana bawumudde. Starting yesterday, I think, starting 11th, so schools were transporting students. So the director of traffic and road safety said school administrators, bus drivers, operators, and parents and guardians would be expected. Friday. They should comply with existing transport and road safety requirements. Yeah. And of course, one of the most important requirements is that journeys should be only between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. And then, of course, police say that school buses traveling outside their districts, routes, back at the bus bajiwa routes, they should get permission from the Ministry of Works and Transport, which tegeera bakole inspection nga bazigamba wenga balina PSV, driver badges, valid driver license, and of course, inspections simanyi is a requirement zansobera. And then of course in Kenya is starting the production of electric vehicles. Yeah, electric buses. Kenya government announced a further push on 11th August bagambye bagala ensi yabwe birenga yekola simanyi bagenda kutukola. So that ewaffe wano kira e-vehicle electric buses, but also Kenya is going to be doing buses as electric. So the Kenya State Department for Roads said the government is advancing plans relating to the manufacture and assembly of electric BRT buses. Now, the initiative connects two important changes in East African transport. The development of mass transit systems, because bagala kuja traffic jam mu bibuga, and then of course they are moving away from diesel-powered public transport. You know, buses are wakule numi. So they are trying to develop the local assembly wawe mu Kenya. Babenga bebasinga okukola buses ezo nga the buses are run by batteries. You charge your battery, you drive. Then the development puts Kenya among the African countries actively attempting to establish local capacity rather than depending entirely on imported finished electric vehicles. Uganda not importing amukoe, but boba agala tandika ziko. Nafa wantukola, but I don't know about Chida EV again na ampola. We will see.
for the love of cause Uganda we roll.
Now, of course, you guys, we talked about the other week about the Chinese car maker Chery. They are saying that the Chery, the company, is taking over the Nissan plant in South Africa. you guys know that Nissan has been struggling for some time, yeah? So Chinese manufacturer is going to take over Yagura plant here in Rosedine, near Pretoria. And what they are saying is that the acquisition itself was concluded in July. Chery intends to use the facility to produce plug-in hybrids, battery-powered electric vehicles, and the Jetua models. So the development represents something larger than one factory changing ownership. Chinese automotive companies are increasingly examining Africa not simply as an export destination because into one, but as a place where cars can actually be assembled or manufactured. So South Africa is already good. It hosts a lot of Chinese investment companies there, including the Biak, Mujimanyeyo, Great Wall Motors, yeah, Kati. It is being reported that South Africa, Morocco, Kenya, and Ethiopia, including Ghana, are among the African markets viewed as particularly well suited for additional Chinese EV investment. Kati Uganda simanyi lwaki teriimu. Maybe the taxes are high. So local assembly is definitely going to allow manufacturers to reduce some import costs while encouraging development of local parts, supply, charging. Olaba kati ebintu emunga wane Uganda tulina abaana kati bakola brakes. Kati bo bagenda banamanda bagakola. Okitegeera So I unreliable electric supply wanonga wane yafe Uganda amasanyize gagenda. Yesterday twatugenda kukola ekimeeza. Sanyize gagenda ku sawe mu yennyine ekimeeza. Naye gamaze dakika 15 ne gakomawo and we anxiety getting hudda somehow. And then of course you guys know that Nigeria is doing a lot of things a lot of incentives are being put in place to make sure that people buy electric vehicles. Yeah, one of the things that the government did was to make sure they have tax waivers. Or for example, the first half of 2026, they waived taxes for over 4,000 electric vehicles. The program was supposed to encourage cleaner transport. Yeah, never jaw VAT. 2024 by jaw VAT entirely. Never later import duty never 5% never musaku zero. Osegera. Kati, the other thing that is helping people adapt to electric cars is that petrol is very expensive. However, chebagamba nti amasanyalaze in Nigeria mabi nnyo. The Nigeria's grid supplies about 4,000 megawatts to a population of over 200 million people. Very little. Nebagamba charging stations zitukanga tizisobola kucharge kuba basanze gavaavaako jukira bakola rationing eno state bebe ina eno tusoka ntujijjako eno state bebe eyine tujijjako osegera kati abantu besanga nga they have to use generators to charge their electric vehicles. Atenga generators are run by fuel kati ekyo nekibanga kibatawanye kati hybrids are becoming relevant ngafe wane Uganda. We're going to be buying hybrids very soon because nafa amasanze gafetigategerekeka. Electric motorcycles, three-wheelers, zokati zinzo kuba better kuba amasanyazi zikosa matono. Nigeria has more than 15 million motorcycles. 15 million kati 113 is over 2 million ngamba 12 eza pichi. But anyway, Nigeria narabye yanono gayo no Kenya akola bume comedian yakoze nti aba Nigeria abazi na amasanyazi ne gavaako du na pozinga. Nikakomona atandikira ne gavaako du na pozinga. And of course that's the situation. For one agafe gagendo sigalo okola bibyo kubo kimanyi gajja genda. And then, of course, internationally, Chinese car exports surge, but domestic sales collapse. The China's automotive industry is increasingly looking overseas for growth as vehicle sales at home continue to weaken. Data released by the China Passenger Car Association showed that the Chinese vehicle exports surged to 88% year on year. In July, approximately 923,000 vehicles. And domestic passenger car sales fell about 21% to 1.47 million vehicles. Now, July marked the 10th consecutive month of declining domestic sales. I don't know why that is happening. But what they are saying is that the imbalance is forcing manufacturers, including BYD, Cherry, they are becoming more aggressive internationally. China. So they have a lot of capacity. More kapakora nyingi nnyo. Naye locally wabate bazitunda nga balina zitunda way. And they are saying during the first half of 2026, domestic vehicle sales were approximately 2.3 million units, lower than the year earlier, while the exports grew 71%. Kati kikulaga nti wakati batunda naye ate eri bakola ki batunda. So maybe they just need to market their cars better. But then for African motorists, it matters because Africa is among the markets likely to receive increasingly aggressive expansion of Chinese manufacturers. And then the vehicles will definitely go lower in prices because emoroke zibalimo okutunda eri balino zitunda wano e Kampala kitegeeza balina okukola right hand drive vehicles ezi China zibeera left hand kati balina okukola right hand.
From dusty roads to dreams we patrol.
And then of course manufacturers in North America warns that the trade rules could cost billions. For example, Ford, General Motors, Stellantis, they are preparing for a major fight over automotive trade rules in North America. According to Reuters, Detroit manufacturers are concerned that proposed changes to the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement could add billions of dollars to their annual production costs. Kati amateeka gano nze simanyi Trump yasinga okugaleeta. For example, one proposal would require vehicles to attain at least 50% American-made content to qualify for budget preferential tariff treatment. The United States has also proposed increasing the overall North America content requirement above the current 75. Jukira parts ezisinga bazijja China. Katubaga nti ebintu ebisinga bino okuba kumoroka bina kuba 75 oba mu North America bina kuba 75%. Kitegeeza bagenda kuongeza production costs. Nemoka zigenda kweyongera ebbeeyi. Trump mukama amusaasira kirungi ebbanga liri limpugwa ku 2031 yagambye tagenda kukoma ate teeka. And then of course 8 people were killed after a passenger bus overturned in Himachal Pradesh in India. A private passenger bus traveling through the mountainous Chura Valley in Chamba district skidded off the road and overturned, plunged roughly 100 feet. 100 feet, landing on the lower section of the road. The route is a difficult mountain corridor characterized by narrow roads and steep slopes, and also provides access towards the high altitude Shash Pass. I can't talk on the milk for us, a Shash Pass. So the bus was traveling from Baraga towards Chamba when the driver apparently lost control, and the vehicle yagudde bugwi ne rolling. Reports za police zigamba nti abantu 7 baafiiriddewo 11 ne babeera injured abamwira bajja kufa. That's a very serious accident. I don't atajukira India nabo overloading abalinga ffe okitegeera. Of course driver ne conductor baafudde kati yo case baba bajiggalawo bugazi. Driver ne conductor kasita bafa. Ate aba India baavu n'okutusinga bajja wano ne bagaggawa ne eri ewaabwe babeera baavu. The tip of the week, guys, do service. Bwoba badde emyezi ng'ena nga tokola genda okole service today. Someone I inspected the car for around 2023 or 2024 there had their engine blow. The car was up country. I asked him to send me the engine, but makanika bange bagikoleko. Nagimpeza twagenza osumula engine. Nga engine nchafu nga akatimba kakwatira. Guys, service your car. And every now and then, I think once a year, sumula crankcase ya engine jaya akatimba bakoze bazemu okakasente kati okozeza at least once a year. Ate moroka boba wakajigula ndaba gule moroka enkaddi joza akatimba ako, otherwise engine yakublowing ako oil kati ne charge star oil yeta chalinya because akatimba kali kekutte netto omukono ogumu okitegeera ne yono omukono ogumu ogwa piston. So we are currently working on the engine because of no service. So go service your car today. Akalowozo ko olunaku bwoba ogenda okugula emmoroka teekawo $40 aga transfer anti URA yetwala $28 ne agent agenda okukolako ayagala $12 emitwalo gyo ana bakolere transfer. Tambula nazo okuba emmoroka walibadde ogizza mu mannya go. Well, thank you very much for being part of this week's episode of the Car Weekly Roundup. I'd like to remind you that 5th September is going to be the Love for Cars convention. Tickets are 30,000. Call the number 0760045116 and buy your ticket. Until next time. Ciao.